suburban mom. I kind of knew that going to Westport, Connecticut, but it has been confirmed. So I am delighted to be back in the city where I belong. And my boys are out with my mother for a week, and then they're going to come see me Memorial Day weekend. Can't wait to see them before they head out for a month with their dad to California, which is going to give me a chance to write my book. I have a deadline, July 15th. So June is going to be a big, big writing month. Hey, Sonia. So I am so excited. And hi, Anu. We have a guest today. Sonia Sonia is the founder of Ona Creative. Oh, wait, hang on. We got a question. Just a second, Sonia. Bianca from Body Positive Bootcamp asks, how do you suggest we harness the power of networking during the pandemic? And Perry Lyons says, that is a high compliment. No, you are not, right? Not a suburban mom. No. And good to see you again. So hold that question, Bianca, because we have an amazing guest today. So I want to bring Sonia on, and then we can get to that either together or at the end. You're asking, how do we network during the pandemic? And by the way, one of the best ways of networking is to join a vetted community, because there's 7.2 billion people on the planet, right? How do we find the ones who share our values, are going to help us grow our business? And Bianca just joined our Million Dollar Women Masterclass. So you've got a lot of women to network with right there. And we're going to introduce you to some great mentors. But right now, I'm really excited to introduce all of you to Sonia. She runs a full-service creative agency that specializes in digital marketing and branding based in LA. And what I'm hearing from a lot of my coaching clients right now and the women in our Million Dollar Women community is that they meant to have this really cool digital strategy, but never quite got around to it. And now, due to the pandemic, they have to figure it out, right? There's no more, oh, I'll figure that out when I have time, when I have money, when business slows down. It's like now. Now is when you have to figure out your digital marketing. Yesterday would be even better, because as Bianca was bringing up, there's no more networking, there's no more speaking live. So how do we get this right? And we're so lucky to have with us today Sonia, whose agency works with companies like Nike, like Let Us Grow, Lettuce Grow, which makes hydroponic farm stands that you can have in your home. So cool. So you can grow your own herbs. They just raised 3.2, I think it was, million in seed venture capital. So go check them out. And Sonia works with all these brands to help them figure out their digital strategy. So Nike, Let Us Grow, Nordstrom's. She works with some really big companies and helps them launch campaigns online. So who better to help us figure out what we should be doing about our digital marketing? And Sonia, if you're ready, I'm going to just bring you on. Here she comes. Hey there. How you doing today? I am good. You're usually like in a ponytail and your sweats. Like, I haven't seen you all glammed out. You look awesome. I am so impressed. You look great. You always look great, but it's fun to see like the zhuzh factor. Looking good. So yeah, thanks so much for coming on. We're getting so many questions about how people can build their digital presence. Yeah. And I know that you have so many clients you're their first phone call, right, in this pandemic. Like, okay, now how do we do our campaigns? How are we going to continue to build our brands and attract the right customers online? So maybe just start with telling us what Ona Creative does, and then what kind of pivots are you seeing your clients making right now?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, we're a full service creative agency. We do everything from big brand campaigns that mostly go over digital, because even nowadays, even if you're a big brand and you're looking to advertise, you'll shoot a 30-second spot or a 60-second spot, but you need it to live on email, you need it to live on .com, you need it to have a social media presence, and then you need to get that out there and tell a story over several months. So it requires digital know-how, and that's where my background's in. We also take a brand from inception, like the Let's Grow or Milk Store, and it might have not just started, they might have been going a couple of years, but they're looking to revamp their look and feel, and then maybe launch a new website. So we take brands from start to finish from a strategic standpoint. Who are you? Why does somebody need to buy from you? And then we make them look and feel the way we think that the consumer is going to want to approach them, right? So some brands are fun, some brands are premium, some brands are mom and baby friendly,
What is like one big pivot that one of your clients made? I remember you told me the Let Us Grow story, and that was so cool. So maybe you could tell that one or about one of your other clients.
No, so they actually, I mean, they actually are just doing great right now due to the pandemic. It's just people are looking to grow inside, or not grow inside, but just grow their own vegetables, especially seeing how, people are getting more and more weary of the produce that's on our shelves and or, might not be wanting to go to the grocery store. So,
And they have more time, right, to like
yep.
care for a plant, grow your own vegetables. But and so what was their website like when they came to you, and then what did you help them do?
So when they first came to us, it was very like fun and approachable, but the brand was it's a more expensive brand, not super duper like it's anywhere from $300 to $600 for one of these, and we just felt it was a more premium, higher end consumer. So when we looked at the brands, not that are competitors, but that are lookalike brands to us, we looked at Away Luggage, WeWork, Apple, Nike, just these premium looking beautiful brands that are communicate themselves as very minimalistic and they connect to the millennial consumer, and we really saw their person as 30 plus, probably 35 or so, and then we structured their visuals and their messaging around this idea of like growing your own food, making it's easy. It was their timeline used to be like fast, fun, young, and I think now it's the very first landing page that's like growing your own food has never been easier. And there's a picture, and one of the things we realized, and then we came along with the founder as well, is that a lot of people thought that it just grows lettuce because it's called Lettuce Grow.
Yeah, and I'm putting the name in the chat so people can go to the website if they want to multitask because it's so beautiful. The website with like that big lush strawberry right on there.
Yeah. So the strawberry right up front kind of communicates this idea. It's not just lettuce. You can grow family-sized vegetables. And the way we unfold the story, is over time. You kind of get to know the brand a little bit better. So that's basically what we did with them. And they're doing great right now. They're seeing like record sales.
Amazing. And that's such a good reminder. Thank you. That not all businesses are slowed down or shut down, right? There are plenty of businesses that are doing well, but I would say it's mainly the businesses that also have this online presence, at least had something to work with and are now amplifying it. So what do you think people can do who have a small, maybe a slightly smaller business than Let Us Grow, where, they've got a web presence, but they kept putting off making it better. They kept putting off really figuring out the right messaging or branding. What are some things they could be doing right now, Sonia?
Well, I think one of the big things that I see with any brand when we first start with them is they're so concerned about telling their own story that they don't think about what the consumer wants to hear. So my first, gut instinct, and depends on the size of your consumer-facing brand, or if you're a B2B, I would sit down with your consumer-facing brand and you have a certain amount of buyers. I would send out a survey and I would ask those buyers about who they are, what they want to see, and how they want to be spoken to. And then, but if I was a B2B, I would sit down and I'd really think about what my customer looks like. I know personally for us, like when I first sat down and did this, even when we work with startups, or startups, within those startups, we tend to work with people who have worked with big brands, or have come from like LVMH or Red Bull or Clif Bar. They might be at a startup now, but they definitely have, and I noticed that those are the people that understood what we did and were more likely to buy from us. So similarly, if you're a B2B, I would sit down and really think about what your consumer looks like, but if you're a B2C, I would send out a survey. Based on those results, and based on the price point, and based on several different factors, I would think about how I re-improve the messaging on my website and the look and feel. If your customer's higher end, you want to have a higher end look and feel. If your customer is, like a mom and baby brand, you might want to have a little bit more of an approachable feel for the feel. Or you may want to look into like how moms want to be spoken to with quite a bit of research. That's all out there, to be honest, on the internet.
Well, right, and this is what you're so good at. And so I'd be curious if someone doesn't have your talent for helping, brands figure out their voice and their look and how they can really reach that target customer. What would be like a good first step? And then also, can they call you?
You can definitely call me, obviously. And we're here and happy to help.
Yeah, because you've been open this whole time, right? You've stayed open. You've kept on your team of what, 20 some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's such a tribute to you and the business that you've built, by the way. So congratulations for that. And how can they reach you? And then we'll come back to the question.
So my email is Sonia, SANJA, @onacreative.com.
Here, I'll put it in, and then we'd love to come back to that question. So how could somebody start this process?
So I think first is figuring out that target consumer, but I also think a part of it is, I mentioned lookalike brands earlier, right? So it's a lot easier to step into something when you know where you're kind of going. So if you can define who your consumer is, if you can look at other brands they shop, and you can look around and look at not just brands they shop, but the brands that are like best in class at marketing in that consumer's range, I think it's becomes a lot easier than trying to come up with something from nothing.
I couldn't agree more. And we always ask the women in our programs to go look at competitors because, funny enough, so many small business owners get so busy that they don't look at how competitors are presenting themselves. And then you have to remind them that, well, every customer is going to look at you next to your competitors, right? So if you're not doing that, you're missing out on an opportunity to see, hey, how could my brand voice be different, right? How could I stand out?
Well, that's a great point because I think a lot of people look at competitors and they want to be like competitors. I think it's important to look at lookalike brands, like I said, that are in the same target demo, but then also look at your competitors and figure out how you're going to be completely different than a competitor.
But doesn't that feel risky to some people to like say something totally different?
Of course, but I just posted this yesterday. If you, everybody wants to be conventional, like they want to be, you know, they don't want to rock the boat or be different, but they want different results. If you want different results, you got to stand out. You can't blend in. Right?
So tell us more about that. That's actually why I was asking you about this because I know you've been posting about this and I'd love to hear sort of your take on it because you live, sleep, eat, and breathe branding and digital marketing. And there are people who are just joining us, by the way. Welcome to Gally Smark and MCKZ and Marianne. We've got a whole bunch of people jumping on. So we're talking about how can you rock your branding and digital marketing during this time when it's no longer a nice to have. It is 180% necessary to have a great online presence. And that's what Sonia helps her clients do. Her email's in the chat if you want to reach out to her. But we're also talking about like what should just everybody be doing right now. And so far, I believe you've said, Sonia, we should be looking at competitors. We should be looking at like what's their brand voice. How can we be different? We should be reaching out to our clients and customers and seeing, you know, what do they know us for? What do they love us for? And how can we be communicating that? Is our client low end, medium end, high end? She just helped the company Let Us Grow completely reinvent their website in a way that made their sales go through the roof. I mean, they're an amazing company anyway, but Sonia really helped them to bring out their brand story and their look. So, okay, back over to you.
So I think, what was your last question?
The last question was like, okay, how do we take those risks, right? So if we're saying we don't want to do the same thing as our competitors, it's scary to like come out with something that's totally different from what everyone else is saying.
But and this kind of goes back to your target consumer. There's a reason that they're buying from you that's different from other people. You also have to lean into what is authentically you versus, you know, what's somebody else, right? So for me, for my company, you know, we're like, and we talked about this. You are my coach, so we talked about this, right?
Yes.
So for my company, a really big thing is we looked at like what were we really good at, and really good at content, but we've never done it for ourselves. So we're now starting to create content for ourselves and tell our own story. And very early on when I started this, you know, I came from male-dominated industry, sports, right? So I worked mostly in basketball, and I was really scared to call myself a female-driven creative agency because I'm like, I'm just gonna get, you know, like WNBA can't really afford the same thing that the NBA can. I was just scared I was gonna get pigeonholed in this area. But a consultant once told me, when you're good, people are gonna hire you anyway. So it's important to stand out. So we fully went out. Ona means her body means. We fully went out and told our story about being female driven and leaned into that.
Will you repeat again what ONA means? Actually, if you could up your volume a tiny bit. I'm having a tiny trouble a bit hearing you. It's so hot here in New York. It's crazy. I have my air conditioner on. It's like full on summer all of a sudden.
I don't know how other than coming closer.
That might help a little bit.
My face like real.
We can see your beautiful eye makeup.
Yeah.
No, you're doing great. Thank you. So wait, what does Ona create? What does Ona mean again? I love the story. So will you tell it again? Because they went by too quickly.
Ona, yeah, Ona means her in Bosnian.
In
And
Bosnian.
I actually got that idea from your book.
Oh, why's that?
Yeah, your entrepreneur class called the Ellas, I think.
That's right, the EO Ellas. That's right. Good memory.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
I
awesome.
from your book. I actually never told you that.
No, you never told me. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, and Ono Creative is a great name. It's super easy to remember. It's short. It's powerful, right? Something about that O that's very like round and maternal and like authoritative at the same time.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's like 3 letters, easy to remember. And if you know that we're female driven creative agency means more, then you know that it means her. So it's like there's a little bit of discovery to branding too. Not everything needs to be, put out there all at once. Like,
Right.
sometimes it's just like peeling back an onion, like getting to know a brand more and better. So
Well, and sometimes, the force of the brand. Wait, what'd you say? I missed that last part.
Dennis is on. It's a good friend.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I'm glad your friends are popping on. Bianca, who runs Body Positive Boot Camp, who's on this Instagram Live, was reminding me that in the book I said, have the fear and do it anyway. That's one of my big mantras. So how do we do that with our branding? Talk to us about how we should be thinking about that right now.
Yeah, well, again, I think the part of it is like figuring out what's authentically you, and then leaning into that. Because if you're gonna do something that isn't comfortable for you, like that's not who you are, you're never gonna want to do it. But if you know that, like one of the things that I did with another client of mine, previous client of mine, who was a dentist and a skateboarder, and that's like such a unique proposition. So being unique doesn't mean being weird.
Not at the same time, I hope. The dentist and skateboarder.
Sometimes.
I don't think I want my dentist on a skateboard while he's giving me root canal.
But the point is like this intersection of two very unique.
Yes, that's cool. How did you help him use that?
So the first thing we did was, he used to talk about he skateboards. He wanted to get his dental practice done. We looked at his strategy. We really looked at like why do people come to him, and there was 2 different reasons. One was like the results that you would get that were above and beyond anybody else. But the second reason was that he was he made a very like family friendly type of environment, and his family, his actual family, and his skateboarding were actually a really big part of that. Like he would go on skateboard with his clients out back, or like just do some fun things. So the first thing we did, he is known as a Tom Ford policeman against charity. He did that. We went out and we did a photo shoot with him in a Tom Ford suit on a skateboard.
Oh my God, I love it.
Photos got used all over press. They got used all over social. People loved it, and actually a consultant that works with Tony Robbins saw his social just in general, and just loved how much of like a full story he was telling, and actually, brought him up, not him on stage, but put up his social on the stage at the Tony Robbins event and talked about like this.
Wow.
Marketing.
Well, that couldn't have hurt for getting clients, right?
No, and actually he did end up getting clients.
I'm sure he did.
But that's what I mean about like you gotta lean into things that make you different, that make you unique, and sometimes it is part of who you are as a person and a personality. As a brand, there could be something that's completely unique about you.
I love that. And we talked a little bit about like how you would do that on a website, but let's go to some of the other digital marketing assets. So here, I'll just give you a concrete example if you don't mind sort of coaching on the fly. So Bianca, who wrote in, runs Body Positive Boot Camp, she's a trainer. And so before the pandemic hit, she was training people in person, but now she's doing group classes on Zoom, as you can imagine. And what's unique about them is that they're very into like body positive, come as you are, super like queer and non-binary friendly. And so I haven't seen a lot of trainers who like lead with that, right? That's cool. It's called Body Positive Boot Camp. So like what should she be doing right now? How can she lean even more into that during this time? Just to have like a concrete example.
Does she already have the imagery on her website that showcases that?
I believe she does.
Yeah, imagery can be super powerful. The other thing, I mean, that's from a branding standpoint. She has to make sure that her message is, you can see her message right away as soon as you get to the website. The other things that if I was her, that I would be doing is I would be looking at groups around the internet, whether it's Reddit blogs or social media groups or Facebook groups or whatever it is, other Instagram accounts that kind of speak to this. I know like the feminist account that they talk about body positivity all the time.
Oh,
And
great suggestion. I'm going to put that in. M feminist.
at, at feminist.
Okay, and is that a Facebook group or where is that?
No, just an Instagram account.
Oh, okay, got it. I don't think I'm
Yeah,
putting it in right. How do you spell it?
just feminist, like the word feminist.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about. Yes, they're great. I follow them too. I thought you said at feminist for some reason. It's my air conditioning here in New York. We're gonna blame it all on the air conditioning.
But they're like just an example of of an account that champions body positivity. And I don't know if they would feature her, but maybe they would if she contacted them. But you have to make enough of these contacts, these groups, some smaller, some bigger, tell your story. And then you have to put out these stories on your social about body positivity. And on your email blast or whatever you're doing on your website, you have to tell the stories yourself, really fully lean into it. And then maybe somebody like them are going to feature you. Also, you can do collaborations with, people in the community who are body positive people. Like when I was looking at the at feminist account, I came across a body positivity social media account. Didn't have that many followers, maybe like 1,000, 2,000, maybe 3,000. But they were getting 1,500 likes per photo.
Oh, wow.
Because their content was resonating so much with people, right? It was such a beautiful, and as a photographer, yeah, it was.
That's really great advice. Let me just sum this up for the people who are listening, and you can think of a couple more things if you want. So it sounds like what Sonia's saying is once you lean into what makes your brand different and special, right, then to go, first of all, make sure your website features that front and center. And if you haven't yet worked with a professional to kind of hone the language on there, this might be a good time to do that, because the truth is it's gotten a lot more crowded, a lot more busy, a lot more competitive out there, right? And so whereas it might have been okay to before to be like, hey, we're great trainers, right? Not that Bianca's doing that, but that wouldn't work anymore, right? Now everybody needs to stand out. So step one is what makes you stand out. Look at your competitors, figure out how you can put your uniqueness front and center, and then get proactive, right? Go out there on the internet, find these groups where other clients like yours are congregating, and figure out if you can do a partnership with them or a giveaway, or can they feature you? Can you feature them, right? Don't forget that they might want you to feature them as much as you want them to feature you, right? Have you had success with that, Sonia? Like helping your clients do a trade in that way?
Yeah, we've had a lot. I mean, we have like consumer facing. A lot of our clients are consumer facing, like they have actual products. So we do a lot of work with influencers where we might send something to an influencer in exchange for posts, or in exchange for. Sometimes we make it bigger in exchange for a blog post, where they actually write on behalf of us, and then we send an email to our database, and they send an email to their database. For Milster, we did. What's it called? And they weren't necessarily huge people who had huge followings, but we did lactation consultants.
Lactation, right, because Milk Stork is helping women to take the breast milk that they've expressed and send it somewhere, right? Back when professional women could travel. Yes.
So obviously there's none of that right now, but
Right.
when we were working with that, we were looking at lactation consultants. Even though their following might have been small, we just knew that their following was very targeted. So we just said, hey, just reach out maybe to 20 or 30. We said, hey, would you be interested in working with us? These are the parameters. And then all we wanted from them was information. Just give us information, tips, tricks, and then we would take that content and that information created into content, be it a blog post or a social media post, and we would tag them and then ask them to reshare with their group. So there was this collaboration going. It's not always about people with 200, 300, or a million followers. Sometimes people who just have a couple of thousand are great.
Well, and I think that's so helpful what you're sharing, because I think we sometimes think, well, if I can't get at the, Beyoncés of the world and the big influencers, then what's the point? But that's not true, right? If you can get into a community where the people are really active, and like our community, we have about 20,000 people on my mailing list. So that's not 3 million, right? But they're all bought into what we're about at Million Dollar Women. So if someone were to promote something to my 20,000 people, because it came from Million Dollar Women, they would pay extra attention.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about, right, Sonia? Finding people who are trusted sources right now and getting to their communities.
Yes,
I have
exactly.
another question for you, unless there's more you want to say about that.
No, go ahead.
Okay, great. So, I love,
I just have one more.
yeah, go ahead, please.
And we talked about this briefly. Two things. For digital marketing for paid media, it's not something we do, but we work with paid media marketers. CPMs have never been lower, so this is a great time to test for you. But again, it depends on what kind of business you have. But using paid social right now is a great way to get going. They haven't been this cheap since 2016.
Well, and can we just, for people who've never used it before, let's just explain that the reason it's cheap right now is that the amount you pay for a search term is based on who else is competing for it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Did I say that right? Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yes, that's exactly right. So and then somebody asked what are CPMs? They're basically the amount of people you can reach with like a single dollar, right?
Yeah, it's cost per million.
Yeah, cost per million. So, to your point about what you're saying, there's less people advertising right now, which means that there's more opportunity. That if you spend $1, you'll make more than previously if you spent $1.
Right. Unfortunately, they're also having more trouble making the dollar, right? So there's that whole vicious cycle where people are like, revenue's down, so do I spend on social media? What do you think about that?
So depends on who you are. I actually have a lot of clients who have nothing to do with the pandemic who are doing super well right now. They have like.
That's awesome. Like Nike's still doing well, right? You said Let Us Grow is doing well.
Yeah, Let Us Grow is doing well, but also Gold 5 and soccer brands having like record months they've never seen before. Has nothing to do with the pandemic.
That's awesome. Yeah, we've got people in our community who are still thriving too, so it's important to remember. But if somebody on this call is not in that situation where the money's flowing in, what about like SEM versus Facebook marketing? So SEM is search engine marketing, like Google AdWords, things like that.
That is not my area of expertise. What I've heard a colleague or a friend is that they invest actually more in search now than not now, just in general, because Facebook got so expensive for such a long time. But I don't want to lead anybody the wrong way in that way. So, and I think search is quite a bit more complicated to figure out.
Right, and I would also say, since we do a lot of Facebook advertising at $1 Million Women, it does take a long time to get it to work. So back when you were saying like get into Business Manager and figure it out, like yes, but I would not spend a lot of money on Facebook until you really get it to work. And it can take 3 weeks to 4 weeks for it to work at all. So that's another little caveat. It's not a quick hit at all.
Yeah, I personally, I don't believe there is anything such as a quick hit unless like you have a good email database already built up. But if you're a brand starting out or you haven't, built up your database to date yet, because if you have a database already, I would try to get those people to refer a friend to you, right? I would look for ways.
Yes, that's what we're calling the low-hanging fruit in our community. Like before you go out and spend all this money, right? Look around at who's already in your world.
Yeah, but let's say like you don't have that, which is the case for a lot of people. Everything, in my opinion, takes time to build up and to get to a certain level. So I know for me, like, we don't have a database. I mean, I scrape my personal database list and send out emails from time to time, which is still 3,000 or 4,000 people. It's still pretty good for, one human. But I know a lot of people don't have that. So all of this stuff, even the content, even like reaching out to influencers, it's going to take time. It's all going to take time. You have to be patient.
Right, but this is the best time to do it, isn't it? Because once things kick up again, if you've come out of this with a better digital marketing strategy, and again, as I said at the beginning, if you weren't with us, I was saying most entrepreneurs with small businesses think about their digital marketing, think about their branding, but it seems to come last and they never get to it. So this is that time that you could use to finally address that and get it right. And then when things kick up again, or even before that, right, you could be making a lot more money and not constantly saying like, oh, I'm going to get to that, I'm going to get to that. Just like we're all organizing our drawers now at home, right? I kind of feel like digital marketing is like the drawers of a lot of these small businesses. So let me ask you my last question, which is, I would love to know what you're doing. Oh goodness, someone's calling me. There are advantages and disadvantages to being home. I don't know who that is, but we're going to ignore it on the house phone. So you're one of my one-on-one coaching clients, and you guys were doing great before the pandemic, and I was not concerned that you were going to like close up shop or anything, and you've pivoted so quickly. So I'm curious, what are some things that you're doing to up your own presence in digital marketing during this pandemic?
So we redid our website completely at the very beginning. I wrote a couple pieces that I was trying to get into, like, Fast Company, Forbes, Inc., etc. So we finally had one published yesterday.
Congratulations.
3 months, thank you. I started having my assistant to help me find and hire, well, not find,
I know. I'm so happy you did that. And wait, how can people find the Forbes piece? What's it called? I'll put it in the chat. The Forbes piece.
Oh my God.
Oh, you know what? I have it in an email you sent to me. Carry on. I'll find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, writing, we started creating content, we started.
Oh, for me, Sonia froze a minute.
Right.
Oh, there you go. Okay, you're back. You froze a second, but you're back.
Yeah, so we started creating a lot of content around, like just thought leadership, right? Like what other brands are doing out there that we can spotlight and we wanted to tell stories about. I started a podcast, which I haven't put it on yet. By the way, podcasting is down right now, so it's probably not the greatest time to start a podcast, but we're doing it.
Yeah, but you have so much to say. Your podcast is not going to be down. I think your podcast is going to help a lot of people.
Yeah, I have a lot to say, but also I have amazing friends. Like I really looked at like what's my advantage. I have this amazing array of friends who know so much.
Well, sure, and we would love to know what like Nike and Nordstrom and Milk Stork and all these cool companies are doing, and those are the types of people you can invite on, plus all your digital marketing and branding pals, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think some of the questions you just had, like, how do I get started? What do I do? Or, even to the point of like, if you're at a big brand, how do I write a great brief so I can get the most out of my brand agency? A lot of these people, like, they get thrown into jobs and they have no idea how to do that. So, anyway, so we're creating content, a lot of it, and it's going to start coming out in droves pretty soon because we probably filmed already 3 episodes. We're going to film another one this Wednesday, but we're also filming them as well as recording them so that we can put snippets on LinkedIn and put snippets on Instagram, just spread it everywhere, Medium, everywhere, wherever we can get hits, we'll take them. And the ultimate goal is for not just for them to learn, but for me to learn too, because these people have so much knowledge to give to me. And it's weird, like when you are not weird, but it's interesting, like when you're going out and giving thought leadership, you become an authority on something.
That's right.
I've never really spent time doing that before.
Well, you've been so busy just keeping up with your clients. I mean, you had this really fast growing agency, and it still is a fast growing agency, but of course, some of it slowed down because of the pandemic. And I think the real silver lining for you is it's going to give you an opportunity to put that thought leadership out there. This has all been in your head and on your team, right, and in your company. I think I found the article on Forbes. Is it called How COVID-19 Will Have a Lasting Impact on Marketing?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So go look for that on Forbes. I'll type it in so people can find it. Just go to Forbes and Google this and you can find it. What is one last recommendation you'd have for our audience? And then we have to jump off. Like, what should they be thinking about now that you've seen people doing that has had a really good positive impact, especially for the smaller companies, since I work with mainly women making, $250,000 to $750,000.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely look at just like your entire digital ecosystem from start to beginning. I mean, from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Like everything from your email capture tool that is on your website to the way your website looks to your social media, and just make sure it's all aligned. And you kind of mentioned this earlier, but make sure that you're spending your time in the things that are going to make the biggest difference. You can try to sprinkle a little bit of work into everything, but for the most part, what you really want is to show that people are like know that people are going to be going to multiple pages of your site and multiple areas of your social. Like a lot of people want to spend a ton of time with social media content, and if it's not something they're good at, that they're going to waste a lot of time. It's not going to bring a lot of people in. Whereas email could be a great area of expertise for them. So I would look at like your digital funnel from start to end.
Yes.
Right? And figure out where you want to spend the most time and where you're getting the most effort out of. And I would, and then I would keep adding tools to my tool belt after that.
I love that. You've given so many amazing practical tips, and I'm sure there are some people watching right now who might want to follow up with you and set up a call with you. How could they do that, Sonia?
Well, I can put my email into the.
Awesome. I put it in earlier, but people might have joined more recently. And if this is your first CEO check-in, we are going live every Monday and Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, where Sonia is calling in from in LA. And we are going to start having some great guests on here, just helping small business owners make the necessary pivots to get through this time. And actually, Bianca, who has the Body Positive Bootcamp, said great tips. So glad that was helpful for you, Bianca. And Sonia, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your expertise. I'm excited for your podcast, and I look forward to talking to you in about an hour when we have our coaching session too.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye, everyone. Have a good day, and I'll see you back here on Wednesday. Thank you. Bye.
Women Masterclass. So you've got a lot of women to network with right there, and we're going to introduce you to some great mentors. But right now, I'm really excited to introduce all of you to Sonia. She runs a full-service creative agency that specializes in digital marketing and branding based in LA. And what I'm hearing from a lot of my coaching clients right now and the women in our $1 Million Women community is that they meant to have this really cool digital strategy, but never quite got around to it. And now, due to the pandemic, they have to figure it out, right? There's no more, oh, I'll figure that out when I have time, when I have money, when business slows down. It's like now. Now is when you have to figure out your digital marketing. Yes?
Hi, Nicole.
You're still live on Facebook.
Are you kidding? What?
You're still
Oh my
live. I'm
God.
watching you right